welcome to the channel, and this is a special speed build that is actually a build battle between me and SpringSims. SpringSims is a really cool YouTuber and Twitch streamer now, and he asked me, he's like, hey, do you want to do a collab and let's make it a build battle? So of course I was all about that because I'm, you know, pretty much up for a challenge always. So yeah, so this is what that is. Basically what we were doing is a modern, like a small modern home, and it's in Newcrest. It's on a 20 by 15 lot, and it had to be a 1-bedroom home, and it needed to be under 35K. So at first I was like, okay, cool, that should be pretty easy, but in fact it wasn't. And it was mostly because of the money constraints, and even though 35K may seem like a lot, it really isn't, especially when it comes to landscaping, because the bushes and the flowers all cost a fortune apparently. So there's hardly any landscaping on this build. If I could do it over again, there would be a ton more landscaping, I'm sure. But otherwise, I'm pretty happy with how it came out. I really wanted to have this space open, so it would have like glass doors that you could open, and it would just be this giant empty space that would lead out into the patio area. But unfortunately, it makes the room, like, the lighting kind of weird, so I opted against it. I've tried this so many times, and I'm always disappointed that the lighting doesn't work properly. And I always have to close off the room for the sake of good lighting. So sorry about that. But I'm still really happy with how it came out. It's very, very, very simple. It's basically just a box, an elevated box with an angled roof, and you know, everything a modern enthusiast might need or want. There isn't a TV, and there's not a laptop in this build, which I'm sure you can add on your own if you want to download this. It is available on the gallery. My @name is irrelevant7 on there, and it's, I think, under 30K, because after I built it, I was telling Steven, I was like, I don't think my build is a mini modern. It's smallish, but it's not mini by any means. So I decided to try and make it smaller, which I did. So it ended up being a little bit more affordable. So this might be a good home for your Sims if, like, they're moving on up from a starter home. This might be a good second home or something like that. Or if you're like me, you just use for your real estate and you're good to go. But yeah, I really like the idea of this build. It's very airy and open, and even though it's small, it doesn't feel small, if you know what I mean. And there's a lot of windows, so a lot of natural light comes into the build throughout the day, which is really nice. And yeah, so like I was saying, there's no computer, there's no TV, because I kind of imagined that the person living here would be kind of like a high-profile businessman, and he wouldn't be home a lot. And maybe he has a laptop and he does everything on his sim book and his sim phone, so he doesn't really need all of that. So there's not really that much clutter either. It's very clean and minimal. But as far as it not being that exciting, I mean, I think that it's, despite it not being exciting, I think it's still really nice. And I really like how it came out, and I'm really excited to see SpringSims build, to see what he did with his, because his looked a lot smaller than mine, so I'm I'm curious to see what he did. But yeah, I really love doing collabs though. I think they're really fun and you get to know people a lot better that way, and, you know, bounce ideas off each other and do things you may not have done otherwise. So yeah, I think it's really cool. I actually did a collab with him for the first time when we did our townhouse collab with like 5 other people, which is really cool, and I'm so happy I did that. But you should definitely check out that collab of his, well, of ours as well, because it was just amazing. And we got to work with like Freezer Bunny and Pineapple, Dana Colorful, Hey Harry, just like so many people that are so talented, and you should definitely check that out. Yeah, so as you can see on the outside here, it's pretty minimal. There's not a lot going on. There's just an angled roof and it's elevated. But I thought it was kind of cool to do something different. I haven't really done an elevated house before, so it was kind of nice to think of something different and try to think of something that I haven't really done before. So I thought that was pretty cool. Like I said, I wish I could have done more landscaping, but it was just way too expensive. You know that the bushes are like $150 each? That's insane to me. So I omitted that. And towards the end of the build, I was like, ooh, because I was like finding certain clutter items and certain decor items that I thought would be good inside, but I had to figure out like what I could take away, what I could add within the budget. So I was like, oh yeah, I kind of need to add an indoor bin, so I had to get rid of some folded clothes that I had on the dresser and things like that. But worth it. Kind of need a bin inside. Otherwise you would have had to go outside every time to throw away your trash, I think. But it worked out in the end, and I think it looks pretty good in Newcrest. This is the 20 by 15 lot in Newcrest, well, one of them anyway. And I think it would look really cool in Oasis Springs too, because it has a kind of a little bit of a mid-century modern vibe to it, and I always think mid-century looks really cool in Oasis Springs. I thought about doing some solar panels on the top, but because of the shape of the roof that is already there, I thought it looked kind of weird, so I omitted that and decided against it. So at this point, this is when I was like, oh shoot, like this house is kind of big. So I was trying to make it smaller in a way, and I wanted to make sure that it still could be considered a mini modern. So I did bring in the living room area. I didn't want to take away too much from the bedroom because there's not a lot of space in there anyway, but I figured you didn't need that much space on the outdoor area, and you didn't really need a dining room or a dining set either if there's a bar. And considering that this guy isn't here all the time, he probably doesn't have many guests over anyway, so it's just kind of a home base. So I thought that would be kind of appropriate for who lives here. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. That's pretty much it of my build, but definitely check out SpringSims build. That's going to be up in his channel as well, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.